Neuroanatomy video, we are going to be talking about the cerebellum, so let's get started. Alright, so in this neuroanatomy video, we're going to be talking about the cerebellum, and we're going to be in lateral view for today. So you can really forget about the medial view part. So we're going to be in lateral view. So I will just... So we're not going to be using medial view, just focus on the lateral view part. So your cerebellum is this thing right over here, is your cerebellum, and I'll just circle it so you can see, and that is your cerebellum. Now your cerebellum is very useful when it comes to body movement. So when we're talking about the functions of the cerebellum, it's just always about movement. You know, the main part of the cerebellum is just movement, remembering moves. Like when you're learning to walk and stuff, you need to like remember how to walk. So your cerebellum is like remembering how to overcome obstacles when you're walking, etc. Like how to avoid tripping. Like let's say you tripped once. Now your cerebellum is like going to like help you to remember like how to avoid tripping again, or how to avoid making any mistakes when you were walking. Stuff like that. So the cerebellum's main function is movement. It's also, as I said, motor planning, and it's like remembering everything, like if you made any mistakes when you were walking. So I'm gonna make, say, mistakes in movement. So any mistakes in your movement, your cerebellum will try to help you to correct it. And your cerebellum really is, if we had a picture of a brain, like if this was the back view, your cerebellum would be like over here, and it would be split into two parts. Now, the brain is actually split up into many parts. This top part right here, this top part is the cerebrum. So make sure you don't get confused with the cerebrum and the cerebellum. Now, the cerebellum, remember, whenever you think of cerebellum, you think of movement. So that's a good way to remember what the cerebellum really does. The cerebellum is also related to muscle contraction in the mouth. So when you're speaking, a lot of muscles contract. So muscle contraction over there. Again, eye movement also, like movement in the eyes, muscle contraction basically in the face. It's essentially muscle contraction you'll see a lot. And muscle contraction is a big part of the cerebellum's functions, because the cerebellum, as I said, movement is a big part, and a lot of the cerebellum is just remembering how to move, around, especially if, like, every day if you go to walk outside and there's like an obstacle you have to, like, maybe you have to jump over something, your cerebellum helps you like remember, like, oh, I have to walk in a certain way or something like that. So that's what your cerebellum really does. If you have to walk in a certain environment every single day, the cerebellum is linked to that. Now this video is basically the function of the cerebellum. I will have another video going over the parts of the cerebellum, specifically these two parts right here of the cerebellum. So hopefully this video is helpful, and yeah, it's the functions of the cerebellum.